There is blood all over the carpets, blood all over the floor. The scene is the most horrific scene I ever seen in my life.
Baruch Goldstein opened fire with an automatic rifle.
Tragedy which will make a very negative backfire on the whole peace process.
On the 25th of February 1994, during the holy month of Ramadan, US-born Jewish settler Baruch Goldstein entered the Ibrahimi Mosque in the old city of Hebron. 4 minutes into Fajr prayer, as Palestinian worshippers bowed down in sujood, Goldstein opened fire, killing 29 Palestinians, some of them as young as 12, and permanently changing the lives of Hebron's Muslims. It was the last Friday of Ramadan, and hundreds of Palestinian worshippers made their way to dawn prayers at the fourth holiest site in Islam, the Ibrahimi Mosque in the occupied West Bank. The air was tight with tension. That year, the Jewish holiday Purim overlapped with the Muslim holy month, and on the previous night, settlers had tried to enter the mosque while Muslims were gathering for late-night Taraweeh prayers. According to survivors, a number of strange events occurred upon entering the mosque. Israeli authorities separated women worshippers from the men and placed them in a different area of the mosque. Jewish settlers stood outside the mosque's main entrance and welcomed Palestinians, ushering them into the main hall. Now, according to survivors, this behavior was unusual and left many feeling uneasy. As the Imam led Fajr prayer, the nightmare began. Goldstein, dressed in his Israeli army uniform, unshouldered an assault rifle and began shooting indiscriminately into the crowd from behind. As screams of terror filled the holy site, the power cut out, and Goldstein attempted to escape, but was stopped by a crowd and beaten to death. In the immediate aftermath of the massacre, the Israeli army reacted with more force and violence, opening fire on Palestinians protesting the attack and killing others as they were burying their loved ones. According to locals, the final death toll stood at 50 to 60.
They're beaten up by the Arabs because the Arabs hate the Jewish people, and it's their way of in some way humiliating the Jewish people.
Baruch Goldstein was active in the extremist Kach political movement, a party founded in 1971 by radical Zionist Meir Kahane.
There is no Palestine, no Palestinians, there never was, there never will be. They're Arabs, and let them go live in Jordan.
Goldstein, a physician, was known to the Israeli intelligence. A year before the massacre, he had poured acid over the floors of the Ibrahimi Mosque, leaving giant holes in the carpets and injuring 6 worshippers. Support for Goldstein was widespread after the massacre, and his grave became a pilgrimage site for Jewish extremists. Following the massacre, Israeli authorities imposed tighter security measures across occupied Hebron. Palestinians were banned from streets near Israeli settlements, including the bustling economic hub Shuhada Street, preventing them from accessing their homes and businesses. Most significantly, the Ibrahimi Mosque was divided, with Muslim access reduced to just 40%, whilst Jewish worshippers were allocated 60%. A labyrinth of checkpoints and roadblocks isolated Palestinians from the rest of Hebron, and restrictions on movement have gotten worse over the years. Water scarcity and a lack of access to services and schools and increased settler attacks have left Palestinians feeling suffocated in the city. The Kach party was banned in Israel and declared a terrorist organization in 1994 after its members expressed support for the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre. But 3 decades later, Goldstein's radical Kahanist ideology has been embraced by Israel's mainstream. In 2022, leader of the far-right party Jewish Power, Itamar Ben-Gvir, a man known for hanging up a portrait of Goldstein in his living room, signed a coalition agreement with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, making him Minister of National Security and creating the most right-wing parliament in Israel's history. Decades later, Palestinians believe the massacre has been used by Israel to further entrench the occupation. With Israel's government moving increasingly towards the far right, Goldstein's legacy continues to be celebrated, casting a lasting shadow over the daily lives of Palestinians.